We hear it all the time, right? This is the Indian century. We're a rising global superpower. But behind that incredible story of unstoppable growth, there's another narrative unfolding, and it's one of deep internal division. So, in this explainer, we're going to look at the hidden price of all this progress.
At the heart of it all is this idea of the tale of two Indias. There's just this massive, widening gap between the national story we love to celebrate and the, let's say, fragmented reality so many of us are living through every single day. See, on one hand, you've got the official story, a nation of brilliant young entrepreneurs, a booming economy, the whole shebang. But on the other hand, there's the reality, a country that feels more and more divided, where local problems seem to be multiplying way faster than we can solve them. And that brings us to the real core question here, doesn't it? Why is there such a huge disconnect between our incredible potential as a country and these persistent, just frustrating problems?
Well, one huge reason for this disconnect is that in India, your PIN code can seriously feel like your fate. I mean, the quality of your life, the opportunities you get, it can all change dramatically just by crossing a state line.
Just take Delhi's air pollution. Every single year, it's the same story, a massive public health emergency. We are fighting a literal battle just to breathe. And yet, this is always framed as a Delhi problem, not what it really is, a national failure. And it is absolutely not just Delhi. You go to Maharashtra and the crisis shifts to crumbling infrastructure and insane urban overcrowding. Each state is wrestling its own giant, but we keep insisting on treating them like they're separate, isolated fires. This quote just puts it perfectly. We are so busy managing our own backyards that we forget we are all living in the same house. These aren't just local issues. They're symptoms of a much bigger national problem.
But it's not just about geography. There's an even more sensitive divide that's creating a ton of friction all across the country, and that is the language wall.
We're seeing this sentiment pop up more and more. This idea that to belong, to get a job, to even live somewhere, you have to conform to a single language. And this is just creating new barriers where we should be building bridges. So, this really leaves us with a fundamental choice. Are our wonderfully diverse languages going to be tools for connection, or are they going to be weapons for exclusion? Are they bridges that unite us, or are they walls that decide who's in and who's out? And that brings us to the economic cost of all this. Just ask yourself, if a really talented entrepreneur from Bihar can't build their dream in Karnataka, or a brilliant coder from Kerala feels unwelcome in Delhi because of the language they speak, who's the real loser here? It's not just them. India loses. The entire nation loses when talent and ideas can't flow freely. So when you look at all of this, the geographical divides, the linguistic ones, it all kind of boils down to one critical choice. Is our incredible diversity going to be the fuel for our future, or is it going to be the source of our friction? The two paths ahead couldn't be clearer. We can choose to use our diversity as fuel, create shared progress, let talent flow, build a truly unified one India. Or we can let it become a source of friction, which only leads to internal fights, lost potential, and a divided nation that never, ever lives up to its promise. Maybe the core idea of this whole thing is captured right here. Development doesn't have a mother tongue. It only has a goal. Progress doesn't care if you speak Hindi, Tamil, or Marathi. The only goal is to move forward and to do it together. So, all of this leaves us with one final question to think about, one that really goes beyond state borders and different dialects. Can we actually find a way to deeply respect our individual roots, our amazing cultures, and our beautiful languages, while at the very same time prioritizing the shared growth of the entire nation? That's the challenge. And honestly, the answer to that question is what will truly define the Indian century.